Welcome to my YouTube channel, Trent Buchanan. I'm your host. Welcome. Here we'll be doing some fun stuff. We'll be doing some extractions, some lab experiments. I'll be doing some how-to videos, basically showing you some cool stuff. Today I will be showing you how to distill a solvent without having a distillation apparatus. Now, distillation is good for several things. Say we want to separate two liquids that are miscible, two liquids that are mixed together, water and ethanol, for example. Say you want to evaporate some of that ethanol off to separate it from your water. You can use that process of distillation. Distillation is also good for other things as well. Say you have a menstruum ratio of 1 to 2, you can distill half of that solvent, and now you have a 1-to-1 ratio. So it's good for separating liquids. It's good for concentrating your menstruum. And what else is it good for? Oh, say you have an experiment that didn't exactly go as planned, and now you have all this tincture and it's not really what you wanted. You can actually just distill off all of that alcohol and leave the mark. Now, you will still have some of those medicinal compounds. You'll still have some of the essence of whatever you extracted in that solvent. And you can do a couple other steps to further purify that if you like. But today what we'll be doing is I'll show you how to distill a solvent using only a Soxhlet extraction. Now, this is important for a lot of people because, some people might not have a distillation apparatus. Some people might want to concentrate their concentrated tincture. So today I'll be showing you how to essentially distill a solvent using only a Soxhlet extractor. But first and foremost, PPEs. Bam. So I don't have the lab coat. It's coming. I'm going to get one. But bare minimum, you want to have lab goggles. You want to have gloves. Yes, there's no open flame to this, but this is an electrical device, and the solvent that I'll be using today is 95% ethanol, which is highly flammable. So it's just good to have these glasses. I'll also be putting this under vacuum. So anytime you have something under vacuum, you have the potential for implosion. So if you don't want shards of glass in your eyes, put those bad boys on. Now, it might get a little loud in here. Apologize. I'm going to try to talk a little bit louder. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pour my medium into the recirculating chiller. I'm going to be using water today as my medium at 8 degrees Celsius. Since it's under vacuum, I don't need to run, say, ethanol. Whenever you get to higher temperatures, you're gonna want to run something like that, because higher temperatures, you're gonna need a colder. You're going to need a colder medium. You're going to need something that's going to condense your liquid faster, your vapors faster. So yeah, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get that set up and running. Then I'm going to set the equipment up, and I'm going to turn the vacuum on. So a little trick to speed up this process, I'm going to go ahead and mount the condenser, and I'm going to go ahead and hook up the inlet and the outlet tubes to the circulating chiller, fire the chiller up, get that circulating, because the chiller has to reduce the temperature. So I did use as cold as the water as I can from the faucet, just so the chiller didn't have to do as much work. And I'm gonna hook that up and get that flowing while I'm setting everything else up. Save myself some time. So anytime that you hook up a circulating chiller, a water bath, anything like that, you want to make sure that your inlet tube is at the bottom. Your water is going in through here, and it's going to fill up, and it's going to exit here. Heat rises to the top. The hot stuff is going to go out the top, back into the chiller where it'll be cooled down again. Okay, let's get this thing fired up. Okay, we can see that the temperature of the medium now is 10 degrees Celsius. We want to put that down to 8 degrees Celsius. So we'll go ahead and circulate, then we'll chill. Cool. And I'm going to let that chill and circulate as I'm setting up my other equipment to save myself some time. So first things first, whenever you're working with a Soxhlet, you're going to want something that's going to facilitate your boil. So some people use glass, some people use bumping chips, anything that can facilitate a boil. I prefer to use a magnetic stir bar. If you can find one that's a rare earth, I think it's ferrite. It's just a stronger magnet, and that's going to help keep your stir bar on track so that it doesn't spin out. But first things first, anytime you're working with a round bottom flask, anytime that you want to use a magnetic stir bar, go ahead and put that in first. You don't want to get your apparatus set up and you're like, crap, I forgot the stir bar. So go ahead and put your stir bar in. I like to tip mine and let it slide in gently. You don't want to drop these, you don't want to get these too hot, because they do lose their magnetic ability. So same thing with I forget what it's called, but we're going to go ahead and just put this to the side and let it roll down. There we go. And then we're going to add our menstruum, and I'll show you what to do after that. Then you want to go ahead and add your medium. So before it's empty, I like to give it a good swirl, because things will settle to the bottom. Not everything will remain in suspension. So go ahead and give it a quick stir. There we go. We could see from the side of the beaker that what I was talking about. Without that stir, all that would have remained in the bottom. Alrighty, now we can begin setting up our apparatus. What I'm going to do next, since my vacuum hose is attached up here at the top, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my vacuum before I turn on my heating mantle. I want to get the correct vacuum before I add heat. This helps me control things a little bit better. Alright. So you want to do this in a slow fashion and let the vacuum build up. You don't want to just crank the vacuum up, because it can compromise the integrity of your apparatus, cause an implosion, and lead to wounds, degrees and worse. Once your vacuum is steady at 10 inches of mercury, you can turn on your heating mantle, start your stir bar, and add your heat. Same thing with the heat. You don't want to crank the heat up. Let the heat build slowly. Solvent is spinning, stirring, and we will begin to increase in temperature. Right now we're sitting at 24 degrees Celsius. Once the system has risen, or once the solvent has heated up, we will begin. One thing I forgot, lap clips or Keck clips, you probably don't need it since it's under vacuum and it's compressing instead of expanding, but we'll go ahead and put them on anyway. Alright, so let's get a closer look at this. Hopefully that's close enough. So what we have here, we have a 3-neck round bottom flask. Anytime that you're running a vacuum, you have to use a round bottom flask. If you use a flat bottom flask, you're probably going to cause an explosion. So it just can't, the integrity is not strong enough for that kind of vacuum. It's not intended for that. So 3-neck round bottom flask. Right here, this is my temperature gauge. This is a thermometer, and this is going to regulate the system. It's going to make sure that there's not too much fluctuation in temperature. This right here, it's stopcock. It's basically, this is going to allow a little bit of air into this round bottom flask so that the solvent doesn't bump up into the other system. So this is going to help prevent bumping. We're only at 32 degrees Celsius right now, and we're already starting to condense. So let's get there. So one thing to note that you do want to pay attention to your vacuum gauge, because as the heat increases in here, the vacuum will increase as well. So it may not increase much, but as conditions vary, your fluctuation will vary as well. So this only it only fluctuated an inch, but like I said, that's just in these conditions. So keep it noted. Pay attention to your system. Pay attention to your gauges. Pay attention to the gauge on your chiller as well. We're steady at 8 degrees Celsius. Like I said, the temperature, it's not too hot, so the chiller's not really going to fluctuate too much. I probably could have went with like a cooler and an aquarium pump, but sometimes you just gotta go big. So, alright. 40 degrees Celsius. I'll be back at 54. So let me know in the comments if you can hear me. I mean, I'm gonna watch the video again, edit the video, so I'll know, you know, whether you can hear me or not. But just drop a comment, just to do it. In the future videos, like if the vacuum becomes too much, it's too much of a distraction, I will probably move it under the lab table. Two reasons: you'll be able to hear me better, and I'll have more room on the actual table. I made this out of a closet door, so it's just a wooden door. I'm about to show you guys my setup real quick. So yeah, really nothing too crazy. Like I said, made this out of a lab door. I mean, it works. You know, I try to keep a clean lab table. You know, only the essentials. You don't want a cluttered workspace. So it's a vacuum pump right there, running at 10 HG. Honestly, I don't understand why it's backwards. So anybody that could, you know, bring clarity to that for me, that would be great. So right now it says it's running at 20 HG, but by my calculations, it's actually running at 10 HG because I'm able to boil at 54 degrees Celsius. So I don't know why it's backwards. Here's my system right here. Heating mantle, boiling flask. Like I said, thermometer right there. This is going to help facilitate a little bit of air so that it can run into the system, so that this don't bump up into different parts of the apparatus. This is my Soxhlet extractor. Notice how that there's no plant or mushroom material. There's no mark in here. This is because we're doing a distillation with this apparatus today. It's not conventional, but hey, you got to be creative in the lab sometimes. So this is your Soxhlet body right here. This is your condenser. Like I said, cold in the bottom, hot in the top. This cold runs from the chiller to the bottom. The hot runs back into the chiller. And this is the chiller right here. This bad boy is nice, man. You know, I don't have to worry about swapping out ice or, you know, freezing a deep freezer overnight. Like it's just a lot. So for the system that I'm running now, it's efficient. 50 degrees Celsius, we're almost there. Alright, so you see how this is boiling down here, right? And it's condensing, and it's going into this Soxhlet chamber right here. Now, since we don't have any plant material, any mushroom material, since we don't have a mark here, this solvent is just going to collect. So this essentially is going to reduce, and this is going to collect. Whenever it gets to about here, I'll turn off the vacuum, turn off the heat, pull this Soxhlet body out, empty the solvent, and reattach everything and start the process over. And that, my friends, is distillation with a Soxhlet extractor. I'm your host, Trent Buchanan. We will be doing many other experiments, many other extractions in the future. Like, comment, subscribe. Send me a middle finger if you want to. It'll bump me in the algorithm. Peace. Hope it helped. Real quick, y'all. I just want to show you this beautiful system right here. You see this? Look how dark that is. You see that? That's beautiful. Look at that condensate dripping. So real quick, you can see just how much this reduced. So if you don't catch it in time, it will siphon and you'll have to start all over again. But yeah, I would get it somewhere below this bubble. You want to get it about right here. So mine was filling up like right past here. I shut off the vacuum. This heating mantle was still on. So, and my chiller was still on. So condensate was still filling up in here. So came up, siphoned, went all the way back into the boiling flask. But if something like a Frederick's condenser, then you'll be able to distill and condense. They're a little bit pricey. Go ahead and grab one. Save yourself some time and hassle. All right, so you actually want to get that bad boy when it's like right here. Turn off your heating mantle first, then release your vacuum. Cause when it's about here, I turned off the heating mantle in the vacuum, and it's like right here. It was still condensing from here. So we'll see how much solvent we recovered. All right, now that everything's broke down, we'll see how much solvent and menstruum that we have. So you guys didn't see, but I started out with 500 milliliters. And once it was said and done with the extraction that I did yesterday, I ended up with about 450 milliliters. So we'll see how much I have today. Here. So we went from 450 to 300, and we recovered 150. So together that's 450, and that is how you distill using a regular condenser and a Soxhlet extractor. Shout out. If that has helped you in any way, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, share. Anything helps. Give me an algorithm so that more people can learn the art of extraction. Thank you for coming. Again, my name is Trent Buchanan, and you are on Trent Buchanan's channel. Have a great day.